Take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But you got, no, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedom. But I happen to take the vaccine. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen anything so stupid in my life. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to shit.
Into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
What's wrong with you?
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
And happy Friday to you all. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. It is Josh, Walton, Zach hanging out with you this morning. See, good call. Just sitting here listening to this freaking intro. All I had to do was switch over and hit the button. And we're live.
Cool.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Wait, was that a question?
Nope, I was just telling you what is up.
Yeah, thank you. No, that is up. That's about all that's up. I'm just saying hey to the people in chat. Hello, people in chat. As I type away.
Howdy, everybody.
It's Mr. Zachary.
I know, it's been forever since I talked to you, Josh.
I know. How
Feels
you
like
doing?
a year.
It really does.
Not bad.
Good. How's things around the house?
Which house?
Migraine headache yesterday. So yesterday sucked for her. I don't know what was going on. But she was feeling better before she went to bed, so that's a good sign. I think Archer makes her feel better.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been probably 6 months without a real bad migraine. That is one of those things that I just absolutely cannot stand. They say it takes brain cells every time you have one, which explains a lot in my case.
But yeah, not a bad week. I started making a new map. It's going to be, I'm just going to name it the Flat Earth map for Fortnite. I think I'd get more people playing it than naming it the AE map or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But I pretty much took an AE projection and I am doing it pretty, it's going to look like the Earth, like the AE map when you're looking down from above. Like it's real close. Yeah, if I would have had this thing when I was like 12 years old, this Fortnite editor, I'd probably be doing this for a living right now. But yeah, it's amazing the like the terrain capabilities of building rivers and mountains, and it's awesome. You can make your own little world. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's crazy. I probably got like, I don't know, 15, 20 hours into it already. And I have North America, the outline of South America, and Mount Meru, Greenland, and Mars, or northern Canada. And there's going to be little Easter eggs all over it. Welcome to Mars, right up there in northern Canada. I'm going to put Josh's place, Walt's crib. And maybe I should disconnect California completely.
Just making an island off the coast.
Yeah.
Learn to swim. Learn to swim.
You just see the tops of the buildings sticking out of the water. Oh, how was your week there, Josh?
It was all right. It was, well, short. At work, anyway. The week itself was as long as the week is, but my work week was pretty short since I had Monday and Tuesday off. So we're just rolling out to Friday, but man, it seems like it's been a full freaking week for me. I don't know why. But other than that, it's been good. Went on a bunny date last night, which is why I went to bed late.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, went well. 2 repeat dates, so both went relatively well. The better of the date last week was the worst of the date this week, and vice versa. So, yeah, Gail and Dahlia seem to be the 2 top contenders for Harris's bond mates. We shall see. We shall see. Nope, things have been pretty quiet here. Last night, Jonathan from Jersey did a bit of a debut broadcast over there on freeworld.fm, trying to get perceptions back up and going.
Nice.
So yeah, he just still getting all the wrinkles ironed out and the kinks out and all that good stuff. But I think we're getting there. I think we are getting there. I think Angel was around and about. I don't know that he actually made it onto the air last night due to the said wrinkles. But I think it's going to turn out really well. Let's see, what else? What else?
How would the dogs do with the 4th? Did you have a lot of people shooting off fireworks around you?
I mean, there's a fair amount. It doesn't seem anywhere like last year. But then again, last year I was on that 6-gram mushroom dose. So things seemed a little more.
You were hearing fireworks that weren't even there.
Which is quite possible.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
But, what was I saying? Oh, dogs did good. Matter of fact, the rabbits embarrass the dogs and how brave they were in comparison. And really, Shibby's not particularly scared. It's really only Esme and Layla that are scared of the fireworks. Liz wants to know how many dollar bills did I burn on the 4th. Seems like no matter what I do, I'm always burning dollar bills. Even this morning, I did not want to do Restream again. And it's like $200 a year for Restream. And they kept sending me emails saying, hey, you need to update your payment information. You need to update your payment information. Like, you know what? I'm just going to bail on Restream. I'll just get it all sorted myself. And then I wake up this morning and log on, and guess what's no longer connected? Restream. And guess who doesn't have time to get all that shit set up this morning? Me. So now I'm $20 back into Restream just so I can do the show this morning.
There you go.
It's all right. Like I said, I may just do re-up the Restream, bail on the Zoom, and we may just do streams from Restream from now on, because that was considerably easier, I will say.
Yeah. And we don't really use any of the bells and whistles on Zoom anyway.
No, the only plus is it's the separate app. That's the only perk that it has at this point, is that I have it separate from the rest of what I'm doing when we're on those calls. Other than that, I'll get used to going back to a tab rather than an app. Well, this is definitely, whatever works best for our situation is what we should do. Well, I know here on our 4th, we had been notified ahead of time by the local police officers that they were going to be really cracking down. Because here in our area, what is she doing? Here in our specific parish, how about that? It is illegal to shoot, to sell, to have, to whatever. And then, as I said, down the road, when you hit Iberia Parish, right there on the side of the road, is the first tent of fireworks. And as you proceed into the parish, there's plenty of tents with plenty of fireworks available. Never did understand that growing up as a kid. If it's illegal here, it should be illegal there, but it never was. And we've always driven down to the tent to get our damp fireworks and hope they didn't, give us the whole oh Lord, is it going to go? Oh no, it went out. Should I go run to it? Oh no, there it goes. They're shooting now. That whole fun extra excitement you get when you have damp fireworks. Anyway, they said it would be a clampdown here, and I was stunned at how quiet it was here. I kept waiting for a big barrage of someone lighting off a pack of, firecrackers, or at one point I saw about 5 of the little air exploding, whatever, off in the distance. Could have been in the next parish even. But yeah, it was surprisingly quiet. Now, whether that's just everybody being done with the fake holiday, or if that's really, they were literally going around stopping people, I don't know. I can't imagine how it changed from last year to this year, because it definitely was hectic and noisy last year. Because I can remember the cats kind of, looking around. They weren't overly freaked out. I think dogs just may have more sensitive hearing than cats or something, because they just didn't. I was expecting a freak out, but they didn't. So, yeah, quiet here. Now, the weather was a joke. All the lead up to the day was it would be rainy in the late afternoon, 1 or 2 o'clock. And as we had been up early for the show that day, I decided just to stay up and cook early, around 10 or so, to avoid that weather. So I got out there at 10, got my grill clean, got my charcoal piled up, gave it a little light, turned around to pick up the grill part and set it on top to burn it off a little more, get it hot, and the darkness began to roll in. You couldn't have written it. I mean, it was literally light the fire, pick up that grill, here comes the drop. Here comes the second drop. And within 2 seconds, it was putting my fire out. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, yeah, it got here 4 hours early, but that means it left 4 hours later. So we finally cooked about 4, I guess. Had some burnt meat. No, it was good. We had a good day. But yeah, it was Just typical day here. All the neighbors out and about. Real quick, I did see I'm the in chat saying that nephew is back in the hospital, so definitely send prayers that way. And while those prayers are being sent out, since I'm here behind my house, my buddy Gary, his brother passed away yesterday. So he had been in the hospital, not feeling too great, and just got on top of him, whatever it actually was. They had a few things that he was dealing with health-wise, so I haven't actually heard exactly what happened yet. He was a little upset when I spoke to him, so go hang out with him today and make sure everything's cool. But definitely send some extra love and appreciation his way. He definitely been dealing with a lot this year. He just lost his dog a month ago, and now this. So. But yeah, definitely lots of love to everyone dealing with stuff. For sure.
Did you see
hope
what
your
they
dad's
were
doing good there in chat? Jeremy, I see you as well. I hope your dad's okay. Oh, sorry. There, go ahead. Zach.
Did you see what they did out in L.A.? They were saying
Summon demons and oh wait, that other thing. What?
No fireworks on the 4th of July, right? They're kind of like your parish. They said you're not allowed to shoot off fireworks, this and that, blah blah blah, designated, blah blah blah. Then they showed an aerial view of LA at night, and there was just fireworks being shot off everywhere.
Right.
The news was like freaking out about it. I don't know what all these people are doing. Don't they know that they're not supposed to be doing this? This is a real danger. This is a threat to our democracy, pretty much, you know. But yeah, it was kind of funny, the reaction of the news crew, just like, I mean, is this a shock to you people out there in California? Have you gone outside and walked around? I mean, it's like Mad Max Thunderdome out there now. I don't think they can recover as far as San Francisco, LA, all those places. I haven't been out there, but I hear all you see is like everywhere you look are tent cities now. Everywhere. San Francisco, there's just people shitting in the street everywhere. Just people doing drugs, passed out on the side of the road, laying there. Like, I don't even want to see that part of California. Don't ever want to go there. It's like dangerous, scary to go walking around there. Yeah, and you really thought they were going to listen to you about shooting off the fireworks? But yeah, it's like a third world country. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely downtown areas. Yeah, it's like I said, I haven't been there. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it lately, how bad it's getting out that way. Morning, Ian. Yeah, I've never been to the West Coast. Never seen the Pacific Ocean. You been out that way, Josh?
I have. I spent a little time out there when I was just a teeny bopper. That's where I learned how to do all the good hard drugs in Southern California. Like before I was in the Marine Corps, it was basically just booze and fucking a little bit of weed. I didn't really learn how to smoke weed and do coke or do meth until I got into the Marine Corps. Scarily enough.
When that training's like intense, it sounds like.
It was very intense. I mean, it might not have been the official training from the United States Marine Corps, but the training I got while there was definitely intense.
Yeah, my buddy was stationed in San Diego, and he said boot camp was crazy, as far as being strict and all that kind of stuff. He said, but once they got out of basic training, he said it was worse than high school as far as the drugs going around, stuff like that, like in the barracks and stuff. Because he was, ever since he was like 5 years old, he wanted to be a Marine, his whole life. That's all we'd ever heard come out of him. What are you doing after school? Going to be a Marine. Going to be a Marine. And then he got back from boot camp, and he was all, he was like the crazy kid. He was the guy that blew up the high school bell. And, he was with a pipe bomb. He was wild. And he got back from boot camp, and he was all, straight and stiff and all like hardcore. He was brainwashed, you could tell. Oh, and then after he got back the next time, he was Jeffrey again. He was like, he just realized that, boot camp will like get you in a certain mindset and this and that. But once you get out of boot camp, all that kind of goes away. Unless you get into a real, maybe it was just his platoon leader or sergeant or whatever was kind of lackadaisical. But he said it was like summer camp that never ended. And there was just drugs and gambling and alcohol and all this stuff on base that wasn't supposed to be there, but nobody does anything about it anymore. Yeah, I was shocked when I heard about that. And that was the military 25 years ago. Did you see a lot of that in the military when you were in, Josh?
There was definitely, again, a fair share. I know, say in Camp Pendleton there in Southern California, there was at least rumors of like meth labs and stuff there on base being run and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's really...
And that was 20-something years ago?
Yeah. Something. Well, if it's 23 now, I went in 96, so you could tack on another 4 years to the 23. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That breaks my brain a little.
Getting old's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Really weird.
Do you have that where, like, in your brain, like, I don't feel my age. I still see people that are my age in my brain. I have to remind myself that, hey, that's not old. Like 45 isn't old. Because I'm 45 now. It's just weird. It's like, yeah, I still look at the world as though I'm in my 20s when I'm just observing the world, I don't feel like I'm not an elder, but, right in the middle. I don't know how to explain. It's just weird. It's weird getting older. Thinking back to the 80s, and then you do the math, it's like, no way.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was young, the 80s were the 40s. That's insane to think about. When I was a child, looking back 40 years would have put me into the 40s. And now I look back 40 years, and that's when I was a child. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I'm in that awkward window where I'm sort of the same age my dad was, approximately. When he had me, he was definitely older. But now my son is also the same age I was when I had him. So it's this weird tri-generational overlapping. really is weird. Looking at my son thinking, geez, I was his age when I was
I know.
married
Yeah,
with
my
children.
son too. He's the same age I was when I had him, and I'm like, my God, I'm so glad he is not having a kid right now because I wasn't ready, and I know he's fine. But it was wonderful. So
Then looking back as a child, thinking how grown up my dad was, and then comparing that to how I feel, which is just immature as all hell. Thinking, how in the hell did people do this? But it was a totally different time. My mom stayed at home. My dad went to work and made enough to cover all the bills. It wasn't an issue. They lived very comfortably. Nowadays, that's just not possible.
Yeah, without a college degree, that extra daycare that people pay for, it is hard to get, a job paying to where you can do that. Where you can make enough money, the wife can stay home, all that kind of stuff. You don't see that in many places where people, didn't go to college. I'm sure there are, or some type of trade school or something, but like you used to be able to go be a laborer out at the mills and make plenty enough money to come home and do all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you still can labor at the mill, actually, because they get paid well. But like a grocery store or a restaurant or, some place like that, you can't go and support a family off what you're making there.
I mean, most places, like in restaurants, most restaurants don't pay their employees enough to support themselves.
Yeah, let alone a family.
Let alone a family. But I do believe that's break music that I hear.
Wow.
Yeah, that's been a whole first segment of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Stick around. We've got 3 more coming up right after this. The whole second half of the first half coming up.
Self-motivation. You got to motivate yourself. I found out you can't change people. They can change themselves, but you can't change them. People have to change themselves. Good people are not trained, they're found. So you got to find the right people. That's the key to getting a good job done. One of the major things we learn in management, lesson 1, don't send your ducks to Eagle School because it won't help. I mean, I'm telling you, it won't help no matter how good your school is. And the little eagle badge and little eagle hat, I'm telling you, it won't help. It won't help. You can tell whether your school's done any good, right? When it's over, right? The duck goes for his first rabbit and makes him a friend. You say, no, no, no. So it takes self-motivation to really alter your life. And you don't want to give self-motivation away to somebody else and make it somebody else motivating you. The guy says, boy, if somebody just come by and turn me on. What if they don't show up, right? See, you got to have a better plan for your
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
Calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again. So I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Travis Cook, America's Evil Genius, here to invite you to join us every Tuesday afternoon here on Truth Frequency Radio. No, on our show, you will not see a bunch of three-piece suits or a cocktail party. And you certainly won't see a bunch of inside the Beltway banter. But you will see eye-gouging, crotch-kicking, No holds barred political discussion, the likes of which you won't see anywhere else in media. America's Evil Genius. We come to you every Tuesday from the outskirts of war-torn St. Louis, Missouri, where there's always a good race rider sex scandal just around the corner. Join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and noon on the left coast right here on TFRLive.com. America's Evil Genius, Travis Cook, on TruthFrequencyRadio.com.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, it's TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Well, it's Friday. We'll just call that an introduction. I really need to get that other computer back. I haven't taken the time to set any of this up the way I would like. So it's just sort of existing here in a half-assed state since I switched over to a different computer. So coming back to this one, things just aren't. Yeah, they just aren't. But we are back.
Just not kosher.
Just not kosher, probably.
So I just found something.
Ooh, what did you just find?
From the Watcher.Guru news. Never heard of it before, but Dinad D'Souza wrote this. BRICS. You don't know what BRICS is? It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa starting their own new currency. This is real bad news for the dollar. Out of how many countries? 195 countries in the world. 130 of them are planning on changing their central banking currency to this instead of the dollar. That's crazy. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. I don't see this. Yeah, I don't see this starting off any type of war or anything like that. I mean, this has been in the works for years now. But I could definitely see this doing something to the dollar. To the point where they're going to have to back it with something. This whole fiat currency that the whole world is using is going to have to die. I mean, they've propped it up to die. And yeah, this is how you topple a world currency, I guess.
And they're saying that Russia is in the economic position, and China even is in the economic, well, maybe China is in the economic position to just switch over their currencies. It seems like Russia's got other priorities going on.
Yeah, but their economy, I guess, is doing better than it has in a while. All these sanctions have kind of backfired or something. I don't know. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to all that noise. I mean, they're all in on it together and this and that. We know how it works, but as far as their story goes, yeah, I don't see this turning into like the war.
Didn't I hear this 15 years ago,
though? Yeah, I mean, you heard rumblings of it. I remember that. Them wanting to do something like this, starting the new currency and yada, yada, yada.
Well, like BRICS specifically, right? We that's not an unfamiliar term because we've heard it before. Because this is...
first I heard it was only a couple years ago, but 15 years ago, I was pretty into all that stuff. Like 2008, I was all about money and the financial system and quantitative easing. Isn't that what we call it?
Yep.
That's been going on since 2008.
Yep. QE1, QE2, QE infinitum.
Yeah, it was only supposed to last for 4 months. And here we are 15 years into it. Still firing up that press every month. That's the one thing I don't get is who gets this money? I've never been given any of this printed money. Did I miss the line or something?
Probably.
I mean, it's not a small amount either. It's like billions of dollars every month. So who gets these billions of dollars every month? I mean, this is a bigger budget than NASA.
Probably the creators of said millions of dollars. And they just dole them out to the banks. Here you go. Here's some cash on hand for you to dole out.
I know, that's just crazy.
And since you've got it on hand, that means you get to create loans with all this now cash you've got.
And then you have these morons at the Federal Reserve playing dumb. We don't know why inflation's happening. I mean, this is basic economics 101. I mean, a child can understand this. I have 10 apples. I have $10. Your apple is $1 a piece. Now I have 10 apples. Now I turned it into $100 for the same amount of apples. So now the apples cost $10 a piece. It's that fucking simple. And Janet Yellen acting, I don't understand why. I'm not sure why everything's going up. Ugh. Do you remember the old Adam Sandler CD? This is horrible. I just saw this. Iowa teen gets life for beating death of Spanish teacher.
That's pretty horrible.
Yeah, that is horrible, but I'm sorry, Sandler popped into my brain. That was the first thing that popped into my brain. He predicted this.
Yep.
Those are the chemistry teacher, the Spanish teacher, the janitor. I mean, he did recordings of beatings of all these people. But no, apparently the young man got a bad grade from his Spanish teacher, so he beat her to death while she was out walking in a park. Just insanity. Here's a wild one. Over 90 Vermont school districts hit Monsanto with a lawsuit over toxic contamination of education buildings. So hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars are at stake.
And what's the date of that story?
July 6, 2023.
Weird. Monsanto doesn't exist. There is no such thing as Monsanto in this reality.
What happened to them?
They got bought out.
By who? Dow?
Who was it? I'm sure somebody in chat knows. I'm drawing a blank. It's wasn't Dow. It was shit. I don't know. Let me Google that shit.
So last year, Vermont became the first state in the country to require older schools to test their indoor air for polychlorinated Bayer. That makes sense. Polychlorinated biphenyls, which were used in building materials and electrical equipment before 1980. They're seeking to recover cost and damages because under Vermont's law, schools with high enough contamination levels must reduce exposure. Removing the PCBs will be expensive, and certain districts may have to demolish buildings and replace them with new ones. We've been from caulking and glazing compounds, sealants, adhesives, and other construction material. That's every frickin' building in the country. Monsanto said the case has no merit and that third-party companies, not Monsanto, produced the PCB-laden materials likely used at the schools. I mean, I might have to side with Monsanto on this. Monsanto never manufactured, used, or disposed of PCBs in Vermont and has not manufactured these products for more than 45 years. Monsanto is now owned by Bayer, the pharmaceutical and biotechnology company. Monsanto wants the districts to let it participate in environmental testing and PCB source identification and to document and observe the remediation work. So they were used in building materials and electrical equipment like transformers, capacitors, and fluorescent lighting ballasts. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be taking your capacitors apart or your transformers. Banned in certain uses of them in 1979 over concerns they could cause cancer and other illnesses, blah, 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 blah. The chemicals can be released into the air. Students and staff can be exposed by breathing in dust or vapors containing them. Okay, so yeah, pretty much. I mean, what buildings aren't these, though? Did you hear the list of stuff that it was in?
Uh-huh.
That's every building. Caulking, glazing compounds, sealants, adhesives, and other construction material. I mean, how is this any different than them with their baby powder stuff that they knew was cancer causing for a decade? I don't know. I saw something about AI in there. Go ahead, Walter. Sorry.
I was just going to take a left turn. I know we have a lot of people here that are, pet friendly, pet aware. So Claire, which is one of the newer kittens, female, she's the one I had talked about that was over grooming herself in a particular area. Right under her left neck area where she has to really, lean down really weird to lick, and I'll see her literally grabbing bites of hair there and pulling it up. And so I went and read, and it was all, nerves and stress. And this was not long after the whole Nacho freaking out and trying to kill the kittens thing. So I attributed it all to that she was just a nervous cat that was over grooming that one spot. And I had put some coconut oil on it to keep her from, having an infection, keep it moist, keep it at bay, keep her from licking it too much, whatever. And it seemed to be working. And I had remembered that I thought it was Cleo had done that as well when she was a kitten. So again, I just attributed it to that. Well, 2 days ago, I noticed that the male boy kitten here, Bender, has a spot now. But where his is not accessible to him. Like his is kind of on the back of where his neck would be. Same reach, but I just don't see a way he could possibly bend that way. There's just no way. I know cats are super flexible, but really and truly, where it's at, he can't reach it. So my next thought was, well, they were fighting, playing, tussling, and because she's already in that hair biting, pulling mode of, yanking it out, she must have yanked some out of him as well. And then last night, as we were going to bed, Michelle noticed that Cleo, the older female kitten or cat, whatever now, is also seeming to have a spot. So now I'm doing research. I've been doing it since last night, and everything I see, there's nothing. I can't find anything because all the like ringworm and all that I see pictures and stuff, none of it looks like this. This just literally looks like a little spot, maybe 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters across. They got pulled out, not scaly and dry and weird. And most of these seem to be on the head. Every picture I'm looking, that can be on the paws and the legs from grooming the head, but it usually starts somewhere on their head, not body. And I don't know. I'm just looking for some ideas there. Anybody in chat or listening that might know something, definitely just reach out and let me know. And yes, I know I can take them to the vet and get it all medicated, but I'd like to not do that. I hate putting poison on my pets any more than I would put it on myself or into my body. So
did you look up
natural
hotspots?
Solutions. What was it?
Did you Google hotspots?
Hotspots. Okay.
Yeah, try hotspots on cats and see if that looks anything like what you got going on. Especially if you said that sometimes fleas can be a bit of an issue if you're not like constantly sort of up on that.
Right. Well,
stuff.
they are now. They are this year. It wasn't last year. So I know this Zach and them went through a year of it last year with the dogs. I mean, it's just areas have certain. I'm trying to look at pictures now. I do see what they're saying about it. Immediately seemed pretty accurate. Yeah, that might be what's going on, I guess. And I thought that too. That was one of the things I read early on, was it could just be her skin, she reacted maybe to the drops, blah, 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 blah. And so I kind of attributed it to that. But like I said, now I'm seeing it on Bender and one of the older kittens. So I will definitely treat them according to these home remedies that I'm seeing here. So we'll see what it does, how it works out. I mean, basically, it all boils down to keeping the area with some type of either, like it says here, vitamin E, aloe vera. Me using coconut oil would be perfectly acceptable. So I'll keep doing that and hope it goes away. Anyway. Because my first thought was, of course, ringworm. It's easily spread in cats and stuff, but I've never had, or that's what I've heard and read, and I've never had that growing up, so I didn't know exactly. I figured it would be similar to what it would look like on a person, and it sort of is, but not really. On a cat, it kind of makes almost like a mange look to their fur and stuff, so their skin. I don't know. Anyway, all right, cat segment over. Thank you guys. I will definitely look into that.
So I've generally got a pretty good memory. I mean, I don't know why my brain retains whatever shit it chooses to retain. And probably, again, just because of the conditioning and the exercise it had as a child with all the movies and TV and shit that I watched and wasted my time with. But, like, even if I see something one time in passing, usually if I ever see it again, I'll remember having seen it or be able to identify like characters, like, oh, I think I've seen part of this. I mean, the brain's pretty good. So when Dixie and I watched a show that had a pretty decent description, it was odd that only some scenes were familiar. Like, I was really into it till about 20 minutes in. I'm like, wait a minute. Have I seen this before? I could have sworn I've seen a movie that was just like this. And then it'd go on and be like, new scene. Like, oh, this is right back into it. Like, I had never seen it before. And probably 4 or 5 times throughout the movie. Until finally, like at the very end, I'm like, oh, I have seen this. What is this? I know I've seen this. And Dick's like, oh, yeah, this does seem familiar. But like my brain had blocked out so many parts of it. It just seemed really strange.
Just from banality, blocked it.
And so this was the setup, and I forgot where I was even going with it. The show was called Annihilation, I think. I think it was a movie, right? By this like alien that comes and like crashes into this lighthouse on the coast, and there's this weird shimmer that kind of pulls up around the lighthouse and starts growing, and it's this.
That movie was so weird, I guess, but not even weird. It was just so. Yeah, it would be a movie that if I did go back to see it, I would most likely do the same thing. Go, ooh, because now that you said the lighthouse is what triggered it. It's like, oh, the lighthouse movie. I remember that, but I don't remember details of the scene. Seems like something against a wall or something weird like that. It's been too long.
Yep,
and if I did see it, like if I caught as the credits were rolling down, but I hadn't seen the title, I'd probably watch it and go, have I seen this? Have I seen this? It's just one of those movies that's just kind of there. I don't know. But they do that a lot here lately, I think, because me and Michelle do that constantly, like trying to find something, as you say, trying to find something in all the bullshit and go, oh, this looks interesting. And, our tell is usually, is there a partial bar already watched under it, or does it say resume and start over? And, oh, we've started this and didn't like it. But sometimes I guess it starts it over again, or it's just been so long it resets or something, and we'll start into one, and I'll do the same thing. Like every third scene, I'll go, this seems so damn familiar. And it could just be the repetition of stories that we get fed constantly. It could be the repetition of the concepts, that we get fed over and over, maybe. But yeah, it just seems like it's so just lame that some shit that never sticks. It never, it doesn't stick to your ribs. It doesn't stick to your brain.
Son of a gun. Totally
And
forgot
that,
where I was going with that Annihilation. There was something. I think it was maybe something Zach said triggered that thought process. I don't know.
I got one real quick. I got to talk about this because I saw it.
Oh, shit. All right.
So, Lucasfilms has fired its president after Indiana Jones 5.
Because it flopped?
Wasn't as bad as everybody's making it out to be.
I think you must be cutting out, Zach. I'm not hearing you.
I don't think it's me this time. I'm showing full green on my internet. So
No, it was definitely my end. Can you hear me now? Check, check.
I hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, the Indiana Jones movie, I didn't think it was as bad as they said it was. I know there's all these people out here that hate Disney and the female actress was some woke yada yada whatever. Now, putting all the politics and all the, all that aside, the movie was entertaining to me. I didn't see her pushing around Indy or this or that. I mean, she corrected him when he was wrong a couple times. Made a pot shot at capitalism or whatever, but it wasn't nearly as bad as, in my opinion at least, as all these critics are making it out to be about. This whole cancel culture is getting out of hand. Was it as good as any of the first three? No. I thought it was better than the last one. I thought the female did a really good job in it. And I don't get this whole, I mean, it's a movie. It's there to entertain you. We don't have to make political statements about every single thing we see. And because the people who made it believe this, I'm going to put down the stop. Grow up. The movie wasn't that bad, in my opinion.
Well, the thing that I don't know, I'm so overly critical of movies and storytelling because there have been some amazing ones over the years, so that really holds the other ones up to a light that really sometimes it's tough to stand up to.
It was Bear. Bear bought out Monsanto.
This fucking dude. Flat, the earth is flat. I don't know. I just feel like this has been something that has happened at least the first time something seemed like this to me when it came through that I even paid attention to. Because again, I never have just kept up with like Hollywood. You know, I just never. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but basically, way back, and I say way back in the 80s, I guess. Was that the 80s, late 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s? A movie came out, and it was a phenomenal movie. Really powerful story. Lots of spiritual stuff that I was connecting with at the time because of what I was doing in my life, the path I was on. So it really spoke to me. And then we found out that the director apparently had done something and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And it's like, up until that point, you know, the byline, the storyline, the Hollywood go-to thing, you know, the casting couch and the whole blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it wasn't like a new thought process that there were unsavory things going on in Hollywood. It's fucking Hollywood. So I don't know. It's that separation of people's politics or their personal shit from whatever this is that, you know, has been presented. And I think it's different to me anyway, it is, than like, you know, certain like a photographer photographing kids in bad situations or a artist painting, you know, I see. And then there's a line I'm drawing there that really isn't fair either. I don't know. When you're making a movie, there's a group of people. Yeah, the directors, the vision, but there's a bunch of other people involved, and there's lots of things that get heaped onto it. And I don't know. It just feels different to me, a movie than a piece of art. I don't know where I'm going with this. I kind of lost my thread anyway, but I can still appreciate pieces of art and pieces of literature and other things that I know that the person who created may have had unsavoriness to them. You know, I can separate that. Some people can. Anyway, I've talked us right into the break, so I'll shut up and let Chris pay a bill or three.
So you guys make sure you stick around because we will be right back. That's the end of the entire first half right there. We shall be right back for the first half of the second half coming up right after this. Liz, I think it's 11 or 12. I'm not entirely sure what season.
I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Proverbs 4:20. Your lungs are now filling up with chronic. Oh, I know what that means. Get out of my lungs. COVID-19. Get out of my body. You don't rule me. And all the symptoms came from it.
Cool. Now they'll take this show down next week. Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
And the worse it hurt, the bigger the muscle. Oh, I call you well. Back, I call you well. Knees, I call you well. Feet, I call you well. Kidneys, I call you well. Bladder, I call you well. Stomach, I call you well. Intestines, I call you well. Get out of my lungs. COVID-19. Get out of my body. The devil comes up there. Well, you're not even. You got COVID-19. Let the word fight its own fight.
The opinions of this song do not reflect the opinions of Ironworx Media.
Well, that's COVID-19 for somebody. Now then, I have some videos I want you to watch. Hey, hey, Nico Blue, steno, oprosteno da classica.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Oh, thank you.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your dad.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Ironworx Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
Thank God it's Friday!
And welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworx. Kicking off right now on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Yep. Here we are.
Well, I found a note.
Real quick before you jump into that, I want to give a quick shout out to any word there in chat and say many thanks for coming to hang out with us over there on the Don Jeffries channel as we did America Unplugged last weekend. I did see you there, and it was much appreciated.
For sure, for sure.
Absolutely.
Sorry, that was it. You go right back ahead, Zach.
All right. Well, this is from Fizzorg.com. This one, we brought this up multiple times. I'm sure there were people out there listening that said, that can't be right. But we've said how many times that a lot of pharmaceutical products, vitamins, stuff like that, are made from crude oil, byproducts of refining crude oil. That's where a lot of medicines come from. And I know that sounds insane, right? Like, you mean that black tar stuff that comes out of the ground? I'm actually putting that into my body? Yeah. Well, a team of scientists have learned to make common painkillers from pine trees instead of crude oil now. So a team of scientists from the University of Bath Department of Chemistry and Institute for Sustainability have found a new way to create two of the world's most common painkillers, paracetamol and ibuprofen, out of a compound found in pine trees, one which is also a waste product from the paper company. It is perhaps not widely known that many common pharmaceuticals are manufactured using chemical precursors derived from crude oil, presenting a niche sustainability challenge as the world targets net zero. So blah, 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 blah. We're trying to find ways to not use so much oil and this and that, and oil prices are fluctuating too much, so we can't rely on them to make our pharmaceuticals anymore, so they figured out how to do it from pine tar. I think it's interesting that the trees on top of the soil have some of the same chemical compounds as the oil underneath the ground. Kind of like the trees and the oil are kind of the same thing.
One could even say, as below, so above.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to show that, yes, all those conspiracy theorists out there that talk about, oh yeah, your vitamins are made from crude oil, a lot of the pharmaceuticals are made from crude oil. Yeah, those people were not wrong. They're openly stating that now that they found a new alternative and they want money and funding for it, they're going to be screaming it from the rooftops. Yes, your pharmaceuticals come from oil. The oil out of the ground is the medicine you're putting in your body. How messed up is that? Like, without say that you were coming from the outer lands. You got to visit this place for the first time, don't know anything about it. Wouldn't it be weird if this black, gooey, tarry substance that you can't drink, it'll kill you, is what we've chosen to make our medicine, the stuff to heal us, and is coming from that? Doesn't that just seem like in the Lord of the Rings, right? They go and grab herbs and plants and this and that, green, flowery, beautiful stuff on top. You would think like Mordor is using like the oil from the ground to, I don't know. It just seems so ass backwards how we do things here. That if there were, another species that came and saw what we were doing and just observed us, it'd be like, fuck these people. Let's go hang out with the dolphins.
I'm not gonna lie, Zach. I go out and about sometimes, and I come home and I go, "Fuck these people." But I kid the NPCs. Well, at one time, all of those dinosaur fossils that we're getting that oily juice from. Oh, I'm sorry. I just laugh at the people again. So the story came through that flipped this script, is what I think. I put this in there for that very reason. And since you brought up the dinosaur juice, the article's talking about the fact that back in the day, before we were, educated, people would find bones and strange rocks and attribute it to things like dragons or giants or Cyclops, all the stuff that's in the history books. But no, now that we're educated, we've realized that what at one time was mistaken for a super-sized testicle was actually the dinosaur bone. I'm not lying. This is in the article. So yeah, I think basically all they're doing here is flipping the script on the fact that we've all realized that most likely what's being passed off as dinosaur bones are actually dragon bones or giant bones or even cyclops perhaps. It's a long story. There's no point in getting further into it. But there was an interesting picture here. Where is it? Oh, here, I'll share it with everyone. Oh, there we share. Of course, I don't know if they can see me or not. Anyway, it's interesting that this elephant skull has this weird area in the front that I guess at one point would have been mistaken for a cyclops. But I would like to talk to our good friend, Mike Stillion about that little frontal area and had he discovered it actually in his travels upon Montgo. Anyway, like I said, the story is just a bait and switch is what I pretty much feel like they're doing here.
You're a bait and switch.
That's what your parents use on you to keep you from baiting so much. They got to pull out the old bait and switch.
Is this a bait and switch stream?
Nope, no baiting going on here.
Only if you swipe right.
What's up, Travis?
Not too much. Just trying to get out here and catch some rides.
You know, I used to answer my door like that when people would knock after I saw Idiocracy. One of my buddies would come over and knock on the door. I'd just scream, "Go away, I'm baiting." Then they just walk right in.
Is that a line? Is that a line from Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time he meets Rico, his lawyer, he goes to his apartment. He's sitting there. He crashes through his window with that pod.
Dax.
And the first thing he says is, "Go away, I'm baiting."
Baiting.
What did he mean?
He's masturbating.
Oh, baiting. Okay.
Because everybody just, it's common practice. It's a social norm for everybody just to sit around and be baiting. So you have to respect their bait.
If you somehow missed the amazing prophecy that is Idiocracy, it is currently streaming on one of the streamers I noticed last night, actually, and suggested it as a free course rather than some of the new dribble. I actually watch an entertaining movie, but yeah, we found new dribble. But I will be watching it soon again. I have it on DVD, and I've watched it many times, but now that I know I can stream it easily, I'm going to grab it.
I saw I don't know what you call it, a meme or whatever, but it was Hector Camacho, whatever, the president, Terry Crews, but it had Michelle Obama's face on it. It was hilarious. Big giant shoulders. It looked just like her. Oh, that movie.
I wanted to give a shout out to Boston Ray's Mud Flood Adventures.
Absolutely.
So I got some batteries for the little pods. And he just happened to have an excess of batteries. So he sent me a few extra ones. Now, when I say this, realize I don't say this lightly, but it's a lot like edibles. When I started doing edibles, it was not necessarily noticeable. Or the first couple times I took a dab, I'd be over at my florist's. And before I'd leave, I'd pick up my flower. And before I'd leave, he'd give me a dab, just being neighborly. And I'd take it and I'd drive home thinking, I don't see what the big deal is about dabs. And it never seemed that big of an issue. Not whatever. Not even really stoned. No. And then might have even been once I had my own rig and took like 2 or 3 in a row that they all hit me. And then I could finally start feeling them individually. It was weird. But again, it was the same thing with edibles. didn't really notice a change until I noticed a change, and then I can sort of now feel the difference between the edibles and the smoke. But it's always sort of been that way with cartridges too. I would waste money on carts and carts, be like, ugh, what a fucking waste. Maybe if I like suck on it and almost kill the battery, would I maybe feel that little bit of head change? Thinking, oh, okay, well, I guess there you go. What a waste of money.
Yeah, they're supplemental for me always.
I just happen to have in my hot little hand a cart that I really do only hit a couple of times and put down and walk away, because after that, I'm like stoned. Like, oh, wow. That's a nice little sour diesel cart that Ray sent me along with those batteries, and it's been the very first effective cart that I've ever used. So it is much appreciated, Ray. Very good stuff. Yeah. And the price
Sour diesel is my favorite.
Sour diesel. It's not real gassy in the cart, I'll give it that, but it's hard to find any real gassy, diesel-y weed these days. Everything.
Hey, have you guys heard of the volcano for smoking cannabis or hitting cannabis?
The vape device? Tabletop
No,
vape device?
No, it's not a vape device. It's like this. It's made in Germany, and it's this conical shaped heater.
Yeah, that's the volcano. It's a tabletop vaping device. You fill a bag and pass it around.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I didn't think of it like vaping, but
That's
yeah.
old school.
No, it's
vaping.
it's the original vaping.
Yep, it is the original vaporizer.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. What's cool about it, though is that a buddy of mine who does that, he saves all of his all the buds that are left over, and he gave them to me so that I can now make those make my edibles from that.
It definitely is a process that is an extra step to get some more goodie out of it. It tends to leave a almost toasted, nutty flavor into edibles that you use it in. We call it duff, colloquially, I guess, but I don't know if that's a regional thing or if that's what it is. But yeah, I collect mine as well when I go through my time of using. I have a tabletop vaporizer that has a whip on it. It doesn't use the baggy system, and I definitely reuse mine. I will say though, I find it's a different head place. Let's just say that when you use that exclusive, like if you only use that and didn't use it as an additional thing in some actual flower making edibles with it, it definitely has its own unique profile. Because at one point I had enough to just use it alone without adding anything to it. And while the effects were good, they just were different. I don't know. Hit you in a different spot, I guess. And it could have been strain specific too as well. I'm not sure.
My buddy had it was kind of like a vaporizer. But, back in the day when you would name all your pieces and whatnot, we named this one Ebenezer. And it was just, helicopter flying over. It was a flat piece of wood.
You got to get off there, buddy. Come here.
Had a Bunsen burner coming out of the center of it that you could plug into the wall. And the Bunsen burner didn't have any gas in it or anything like that. It had a heating coil in it, and you would put the bud in the top of the Bunsen burner, and it had this big, giant, it was probably like a 4-inch diameter glass tube that went up like 2 feet. It was just a circular glass tube, and I think it had a little, like it was beveled out at one end. And yeah, you would just put your bud in there, plug it into the wall, and it had this
You put
little
your bud? Wait, what happened?
You put your bud, your cannabis.
Bud, okay, thank you.
Yeah, your cannabis. You put it into the little Bunsen burner, just plug it in, and the thing would start heating up. And it had a little like lid on it. And that whole cylinder would just fill up with smoke. And you just hit it, and yeah, that was it. It was awesome. It kind of wasted pot, though.
About how long of a cylinder are we talking about?
Like 2 feet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was real tall, real big, wide, hard to clear. You would like tilt it up because it wasn't like stuck into the wood. It just had a little groove in there. And instead of a carb, you would go and put your mouth over the top, lean it back a little bit, and it would open up air through the bottom of the cylinder, and then you could suck it all out. But yeah, it was so cool watching that thing just fill up with smoke. No flame, no nothing. The Bunsen burner would just get hot. Yeah, that was Ebenezer. He paid something crazy. Like, that was 98. He paid something like $170 for that thing. Way not worth it. I could have made one for like $20, I bet. Shit, I found at Dollar General and stuff like that. The Bunsen burner thing would have been tricky, but I could have figured something out.
Hey, Zach, I want to talk to you a little bit later about your Fortnite idea. I've got another idea that I think maybe we could piggyback on.
Oh, dude, you got to see the map. It's already in progress.
Yeah, I don't want to change your map. I just want to add to it with see if it'll work for the concept that I've had for like 3 or 4 years. I have it could be either a tabletop game or a virtual game, and I've got everything written out. I just don't have the execution design mindset. I need somebody else to do that part.
I like the design part. That's always fun for me. Yeah, Jaron, it's funny. Like, I'm amazed at the stuff that he does on the computer. You know, just blows my mind. Just don't understand it. It'd take me another lifetime to figure out how to do what he does. But he sees what I do with the designing, the whole creating a world, or just the artistic part of it. And he looks at that like that's amazing. And to me, that's the easy.
Hey, so someone mentioned that I should maybe try to talk to Jaron about one of my other ideas. I can't remember if I told you guys about this or not, but ever since I started doing my podcast in the car, the very first day I realized that this additional app would be revolutionary to the podcasting world. So when I'm podcasting and my channel is live, I can't read the chat while I'm driving. Okay, so there's an app that I would like to be created that is running while I'm doing my podcasting. And then if I get to a point to where I stop talking, then the app kicks in with a 5-second countdown when there's silence. And then as soon as the 5 seconds goes by, the app starts to read the chat to me. So I've got headphones on, and then I can listen to what people are saying in the chat without having to read it myself. And then I can participate in the chat if someone says something, and then I can start riffing if I want to, or if someone addresses me directly, then I can answer their question or their statement. And then if I start talking again, then the app stops talking. It doesn't exist, but if it did, I think that it would be revolutionary to people who, there's people who go around walking around with their selfie sticks, and they're walking through the park and they're talking to their audience and whatnot, but they're not looking at the chat. But if they knew that there was something out there that could help them participate with the chat without having to read the chat, I think it would be a very big item.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome idea.
I know. Let's make it happen.
Goodness, man. Sorry, guys, I spilled a little coffee.
Yeah, I was just looking at the time here. We're almost hitting a new break, or the last break. Believe it or not. Well, this afternoon we do have plans. Our buddy Daryl Davis from Flat Earth Farms is going to come hang out. Nothing in particular topic-wise planned, just hanging out with a good friend who is so beneficial to so many people across this plane. Definitely much appreciated in many sectors. Hey, buddy. I have extra Bender on me today. He is just lap friendly and is purring me to sleep. So if I'm snoring when we get back from this break, you'll know what happened. Yeah, I can't believe y'all. If I put the mic on him, maybe you can hear him say something. Say something, buddy. What you said? No, he was doing it a minute ago, his little pitiful mule. But anyway.
What's your operating system on your phone, Trav? You using iPhone or Android? Oh, Trav is gone. Never mind.
Oh, we lost him?
VoiceOver, if you're one of those iPhone users, it would appear, is a gesture-based screen reader that lets you use your iPhone and iPad even if you don't see the screen. Which sounds to me something very similar to what Travis was looking for. Something that might read back to you a screen that you cannot see on your phone. All right.
Don't they have something like that? I don't know about for chats, but I know like texting, you can do that.
I mean, they've got voice to text and text to voice. But I think he's wanting like a voice activated screen reader.
Yeah. Or a pause activated screen reader, I believe, is what he's actually looking for.
Yeah, it'd be crazy if the chat was going real fast and it just nonstop.
Yeah.
Well, we should be hitting a break. I mean, we should hear break music.
We should. Nah. Wow, I didn't realize you guys could hear him purr, Liz. I just saw that in chat.
There. Now I hears it. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us thus far. We have reached 3/4 of the way through. And as tired as I was when I woke up, I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling
Fourth major
much
lesson
better.
in life to learn. Learn how to reap in the fall without complaint. Learn to reap come harvest time without complaint. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. And another note, learn to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
if there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks. Kicking off right now because, well, I'm kicking it off right now.
Time to kick it off. So am I sharing?
Yes, sir, you are.
Can they see that?
Yes, sir, I believe they can.
Okay, for you watching on a video monitor, this is the new Fortnite map I'm working on. There's the United States. There's South America. We got Greenland, Iceland. There's Mars or Devon Island. I gotta still fill in a little bit more right through here and here. And Mount Meru at the center. I'm thinking of putting a tornado in right here. And then you'll be able to go into the tornado and ride it up to the top and then go flying out. And yeah. But yeah, it's pretty close to the actual map. I know South America looks kind of funky there, but when I go like this.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, South America looks pretty accurate there. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's coming along. The Rockies, the Mississippi, the Great Lakes, Appalachias, St. Lawrence Seaway. Yeah, people have had a lot of ideas. Oh, you should put in the Salt Flats of Salt Lake City and this and that. It's like, I can't do everything. There's no way. I'm thinking down here in Mexico, I'm going to put like a pyramid. Here will be the swamp down in Louisiana. It'll have like tropical down in Florida. Maybe a city up here by New York. A big farm right here throughout the Midwest. Thinking of putting a big island out here with a Hollywood sign on it. Like California fell into the ocean. But yeah, this is the Fortnite editor. When I talk about making maps and stuff, you can really, it's amazing what you can do.
Couple questions in chat. Liz was asking, is Bender meowing yet? No, he's still got that quiet little voice box noise he makes if he's purring, and he just a little peep comes out. So he'll get better, I'm sure. And then she also asked how Brenda wound up with us on Friday. I mean, we basically just were, hanging out, had nothing really else to do. Had put out a show link numerous places, and I texted Josh behind the scenes, and it was like, really? How do we wind up with Brenda waiting in the waiting room? At that point, we were almost done anyway, so what the heck? We had some fun.
The only thing I could figure out is because I hashtagged Flat Earth in it for a Flat Earth Friday. The title was really "Come Hang with Us," and then I pinned at the top as the top comment, the top chat comment, the restream link to jump in for anybody that wanted it. So it would have been pretty easy to find if those that were desperately trying to manipulate Google's algorithms to find out the things they wanted to find. I'm sure.
Hey, don't forget to hashtag the Ubercast.
Hashtag
there you
Ubercast. Go. That's right.
Oh man.
For sure.
Oh, we're still a secret, Liz. Don't you worry. In fact, I saw. I don't know. Was it? I'd have to go all the way back. But one of the first people in chat said, "I didn't even see the notification." Yeah, welcome to Iron Realm.
Yep. They won't notify you. They won't identify us as being live. We just exist somewhere on the YouTube website.
Posted by Daryl Marble.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
So I gotta read this headline out loud. Just because, yeah. IFL Science. What's underneath sand and desert sand?
More sand.
I didn't know there was a difference between, I know there's lots of different types of sand, but sand and desert sand is, have you ever heard it like differentiated that way?
No.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I don't know the two differences they're describing, but I know even like in, of all places, Mississippi, growing up, someone that we knew, a friend of the family, owned a, I mean, we called it a gravel pit, but I mean, there was much more than that going on there. It was acres and acres, and it was like for a kid, like playing out in the desert, because they had all kind of stuff that was high to climb on, stuff that had been dug out to go down into. But in this whole area, which, again, just a few acres, not miles and miles or anything, we were able to take little glass jars and vases and stuff and fill them up with different colored sand and make some of the most amazing sand art then. And that was, like I said, in central Mississippi. So different sand that's an understatement. Now, again, I'm not sure what they're describing in that article, but I mean, hell, just the different quality of beaches that we have alone show, how many different types of sand.
Maybe that's what they're differentiating from beach sand or sand that's been just blown around on top of the surface and not carried by water, maybe. But they just say sand and desert sand. It's like saying water and pond water. What's underneath water and pond water? Yeah, I think that's an AI.
Could be. What's underneath the sand in the desert sand?
It may have crossed your mind while at the beach or in a desert that you don't really know what you'd reach if you kept digging. Would you find sand, rock, soil, or just piles of treasure guarded by the genie Jafar?
Oh, Jesus.
Goodness. This
I'd
is
rather have an
science.
AI.
The answer, of course, varies based on where you are. Some sand dunes, for instance, move around due to wind, meaning that there could be a whole forest beneath you, as well as sinkholes waiting to swallow you up. Okay, sand is formed from rocks on land, ground down by weathering, blah, 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 millions of blah, blah, blah. Were you to dig down, it would differ how far based on the geology of the area. Okay, if you were to dig down at the beach, you may find sand that has been compacted and turned under pressure into a sedimentary rock, sandstone. Keep digging, now using advanced drilling equipment, rather your sand castle spade, and you would hit the bedrock of the area. Okay.
And with advanced drilling techniques, could you keep digging? I mean, what's the point of this? We're just going to keep going down and say, well, underneath the sand of the desert sand is a solid liquid molten iron spinning core magnetized. Hot.
Most deserts are not covered by sand, but are the exposed bedrock itself. This may be a spoiler for what you'd find underneath sandy deserts, but it's bedrock. Where there is sand, it's usually formed by the weathering of the exposed bedrock. Blah, 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 dried out clay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is just dumb. Yeah, I'm done reading it. It's
You reckon it was all the giants that destroyed the Tartarian buildings with belt sanders that created deserts?
Could have been.
Like, obviously, if the mainstream story is compressed sand becomes sandstone, then we know that it's scientifically proven that it must be sand comes from sandstone and it starts off as the stone and turns into sand. Science. So how did it go from sandstone into sand? Obviously, it was giants destroying all of the sandstone blocks from the Tartarian buildings.
Obviously.
Okay, maybe not science. But it's elementary, my dear Watson. Very, very elementary.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Have you seen this harvesting water from desert air?
I've seen some things with like some crazy shaped netting almost that they put into the air and that water condenses around it and it drips down. But I don't know if that's the same thing to which you're referring.
No, this one's a little different. It's a revolutionary super absorbent hydrogel. So they put this gel in this box. Infused with lithium chloride that can absorb an unprecedented amount of moisture, even in desert-like conditions. This material has the potential for large-scale use in passive water harvesting, blah, 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 blah. Record-breaking vapor absorption. And then the first paragraph is just the exact copy of what I read. But man, learn how to read, children, please.
So what? They just take this gooey, slimy, wet gel and they just put it out there and let it absorb moisture from the air?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
then what?
like the same stuff used in diapers. Yeah, it's like
You just
do you really want to
scrape
drink
it
the
off
water
and
after that?
suck it off out of the whatever gel it was you just created, or do you have to super saturate the gel until it becomes just overfilled with the water and the moisture that it starts to drip all this nasty chemicals plus the water that got absorbed down into a bucket or something? I don't know why this is. I prefer the big netting of collecting moisture in the air, letting it drip down. That seems a lot safer than whatever the fuck this is, but it's a clean diaper, I guess.
Yeah, in 20 years, the water made from this stuff causes you to grow a third arm. Like that, yeah.
Have you or your family members drinking diaper water?
If so,
call Dewey
Cheatham our attorneys now. Yeah, I don't watch TV, so I haven't seen any. Are those commercials still out?
To which?
Like last time I watched television, probably like 12 years ago, and it was like half the ads were pharmaceutical ads and the other half were lawyers
trying to scrounge up clients for class actions.
Yeah, against the pharmaceutical companies.
Sounds about
right. So, the fastest motorcycle ever in an 1/8 mile time, how was it powered? Was it fuel powered? Was it battery powered?
Air.
Yes, it was air powered. Steam.
What's it really? I'm being silly.
Steam powered motorcycle sets a new world record for standing 1/8 mile time, 3.878 seconds. No way. That's ridiculous.
30-second mile.
The only reason I said that is growing up, I had this thing called Super Tower of Power, and it was a little hand pump ramp thing. You locked the motorcycle into it, and you pumped it up and down, up and down, up and down until it took off running on air, and it was fast as hell.
So it was doing
way faster than the Evel Knievel thing that worked on gears.
180.
Oh, looks like you broke up again there, Zach.
Oh. Check, 9 or check.
Maybe you muted. I'm not sure. But you're back now. I hears you.
Okay. Yeah. Top speed of 180 miles per hour or 289 kilometers per hour. That's insane. In an 1/8 of a mile, get going that fast.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't want to do that. Just saying. Call me a wuss or whatever. That is fast. Steam powered. Interesting. You know how many cars used to run on steam?
7.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But I know they were out there. Okay, so it's not water. Vegetable oil that has been hydrogenated is used to produce the heat that reaches that's just to produce the heat. 392 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. So it superheats pure water. Wow.
Yeah. 1974. I am old. I had that same haircut. And that shirt.
Wait a minute.
Is that my brother? Hold up.
The Plaid Stallions.
And apparently it was the Turbo Tower of Power. I was crossing it up with the the funk band there, Super Tower of Power. But anyway, yeah, there you go. It was quite the toy. Quite the toy. There were all manner of air-powered things in the 70s, though. They had a little Nerf rocket you would stomp on. They had the little weird creature robot things that would bounce or hop or kind of wiggle around when you filled them with air. Then they had the airplanes that ran on air and the little car. Yeah, there was like a whole air-powered thing. You would think maybe they would create like a bigger version. Oh, sorry. Bender was getting up. Oh, come on, buddy. Stepping inappropriately. But yeah, you would think they would figure out a way to make it work, and apparently they have. What's the top speed again?
I think 180.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
You know what?
And that was just in 1/8 of a mile. I'm sure it can go faster.
Right.
Yeah, that was the speed it hit that quickly. 3-point-something seconds. You're doing 180 miles an hour. No way.
Now, take into account the fact that the FAA just approved the first street legal vehicle to also double as a flying object.
I saw that.
I mean, it's going to cost you $300,000, but it'll fly like 100 miles, I think, in the air.
It looked like a drone. The one I saw like the prototype. It had 4 propellers, like where the tires were. And then the one I saw that's like going up for $300,000 it wasn't just a 1-seater, I don't believe, or it might have been. But it's not
thing
like
that goes
sedan
sideways as it turns into a drone or whatever. I'm trying to find. Yeah, there it is. The picture I saw was it was a car in one direction, then it turned on its side to fly. Is that the same one y'all are talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think
the
I did
picture
see something about it
on,
saying it was going to do something like that, Walter.
I'm trying. There we go. Here we go. I have a picture.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
we can't even get people to stop running into shit on the ground. You're going to let them fly over the top of people's houses and stuff? Yeah, this isn't. I mean, it's $300,000, so it's not like you're going to see a whole lot of these things out there. And what are you going to have to get a flight plan?
Well, what I'm seeing here is that it's going to be more of where you at, Travis? It's going to be Uber for the skies more than car I can fly. Is what they're.
I don't get it.
Basically saying in this article, they probably won't be privately owned. That you'll have to call for your flying car to come pick you up
in the sky. Right, you have to be in the sky. You have to get picked up in the sky, and unfortunately, you have to get dropped off in the sky. Because, well, I mean, if they pick you up and drop you off on the ground, but fly in between, isn't that just a fucking flying car? But that's not what this is. This is an Uber for the air. So you get picked up and, sorry, but dropped off in the sky.
Well, apparently it looks like from what I'm reading here, the one that I showed you, the Aleph, is both a bad car and a bad airplane. It's only going to have a 200-mile road range or 110 miles of airborne range and can carry a max of just 2 people.
Now, wait a minute.
And it can only go 25 miles per hour in driving mode.
Now, people come in many different shapes and sizes, Walter.
Hey, I'm just reading what the story is telling us about the $300,000 piece of machinery.
Here in the U.S., 40% of the population can be considered 2 people.
2 people, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, whatever your pronouns might be.
So
1% of the population will only be carrying half a person.
So it can carry like 3 camis. Yeah.
Right. One wall, whatever.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't see people flying these at all. Like you said, I could see this being like a. Now, is it going to be operated by a human, or is this going to be
a monkey?
A monkey. You beat me. You...
I was thinking more like Johnny Cab from Total
Right.
Recall. Something like that. But yeah, I don't see these things taken up. How much is it going to be to Uber a flight? To go 100 miles? For like $5,000? Yeah, I don't see it.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
we're almost
super
done
rich
here,
people
ladies and gentlemen.
use helicopters. You know?
It's going to be $250,000 a ticket. But you got to go super high up into the sky. Good luck.
Don't forget, this afternoon, Daryl Davis from Flat Earth Farms hanging out, getting some good vibes going. You broke up, sir. What?
I was just saying, letting us know how the farm is doing.
Absolutely. Doing a catch up. It's been too long since we've talked to Daryl here on the show. He's always in chat, but yeah, we need to see what's been up. But anyway, yeah, we're fastly approaching the end of this lovely episode this morning. Thank you all for hanging out. Love you all. Thank you, Josh, Zach, so much. Travis, wherever you're floating around, soon, literally. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Walter.
Yes, thank you.
You'll have a great day.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we'll see you all tonight.
I look forward to seeing you all tonight. Hopefully everybody there in chat will be joining us as well. Kicking off 5:30-ish Central. 3:30-ish Pacific. 6:30-ish on the Eastern side.
Yeah, I made sure and include the ish in my time for Daryl there when I told him what time we'd start.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Iron Realm Media, where you go when you need the ish. Love you, folks. We will see you back here, hopefully at the very latest, next Tuesday morning for more of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Until then, be good, be well, do good, and do well. We love you. Bye-bye.
This is iHeartRadio.
Radio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song lasts forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes. Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smartphone or smart TV and get the best of TFR.